This is your WCFW Daily News Roundup for 105.7 CFW in Chippewa Falls and 93.5 The Tap in Eau Claire.
For 105.7 CFW News, I'm James Kelly. Wisconsin Senator Tammy Baldwin hosted a virtual press conference with Opportunity Wisconsin last week on the state of healthcare following changes at the federal level over the last year. Healthcare issues have been a major focus in western Wisconsin, specifically protecting outright access to healthcare in the more rural areas of the region. Changes from the One Big Beautiful Bill could threaten that access, and the expiration of the Affordable Care Act tax credits could cause premiums to spike for hundreds of thousands in Wisconsin. Civic Media's Maddie Schaefer has more.
Senator Tammy Baldwin excoriated rising costs in a press call on Wednesday, hosted by Opportunity Wisconsin. She called on Republicans in Congress to take action and hosted Wisconsinites facing rising cuts. Joe Selski, a firefighter from Kenosha, says his family relies on Wisconsin's Medicaid program to afford care for his son, who has a rare condition. He says without Katie Beckett Medicaid, which is for children under 18 with long-term disabilities or complex medical needs, they would not be able to afford their son's treatments.
I really think that Congress needs to take action and reverse those cuts immediately and restore health care for those Wisconsinites that are losing it.
Emma Widmar from Mount Pleasant, who lives with multiple chronic conditions, relies on Medicaid-funded services for daily care.
And if Medicaid didn't have my back, I wouldn't be able to afford the health care costs that keep me alive.
Dr. Abigail Lanou is an emergency physician in Chippewa Falls and says rural hospitals and the healthcare system are at risk.
Healthcare premiums are going to go up everywhere, not just for people on the ACA plans.
According to the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, nearly 290,000 Wisconsinites enrolled in ACA marketplace coverage in 2026. That's down from about 307,000 the prior year after enhanced premium tax credits expired. For WBZH and WHSM News, I'm Maddie Schaefer.
The Wisconsin Natural Resources Board has approved new rules seeking to address the increase in fatal crashes involving ATVs and UTVs. According to the Department of Natural Resources, there were 41 deaths in the state last year as a result of ATV or UTV crashes. That's the second highest recorded number of ATV or UTV-related deaths in Wisconsin's history after 47 deaths in 2021. DNR officials say the increasing popularity of the vehicles is a major factor in the increased fatal crashes, with nearly 530,000 ATVs and UTVs registered with the agency. The rule changes unanimously approved by the Natural Resources Board aim to modernize state regulations to address that increasing popularity. They revise an outdated registration process, bar towing people in a trailer behind an ATV or UTV, and require additional safety measures like safety belts and eye protection. They also implement new standards for disorderly operation after authorities issued nearly 250 citations for operating while intoxicated in 2024. The changes still need approval from the state legislature and Governor Tony Evers. Republican state lawmakers have introduced legislation that would eliminate the need for a permit to carry a concealed firearm in Wisconsin. The proposed bill was introduced by State Representative Chance Green, who argues the state's current concealed carry laws are too restrictive. If passed into law, the legislation would make Wisconsin the 30th state to allow concealed carrying without a permit. The Department of Justice would still be required to perform background checks to determine if an individual is prohibited from carrying a concealed weapon under federal law. According to a Spectrum News 1 report, Green does not believe that Governor Tony Evers would sign the bill if it makes its way to his desk. Democratic State Representative Angela Stroud also criticized the legislation, citing a RAND research organization study that found states with permitless carry have higher rates of violent crimes and firearm homicides. Stroud says that she's a concealed carry permit holder and her aim isn't to take away the right to conceal carry a firearm, but has safety concerns about firearms becoming even more accessible. Eau Claire area school district students joined students from across the state last week in protesting recent federal immigration operations in Minnesota. Students at Memorial High School participated in a walkout on Friday, marching from the school down Fairfax Street to Claremont Avenue. Superintendent Mike Johnson says the district worked with the students as well as staff, parents, and local law enforcement to ensure they exercised their First Amendment rights as safely as possible. District officials estimate around 200 Memorial High School students participated in the protest. Chippewa Valley Regional Airport officials have announced the return of flights to Fort Myers for the winter. The seasonal service officially began again on Friday, offering residents a nonstop flight to Fort Myers with Sun Country Airlines. According to a press release, the flights will operate on Mondays and Fridays through April 6th, giving Chippewa Valley residents another way to escape the frigid winter weather. Reservations for the seasonal flights can be made through Sun Country Airlines, and flight schedules are available on the Chippewa Valley Regional Airport website. The Dunn County teenager charged after hitting an Eau Claire woman while driving intoxicated entered a guilty plea to 3 out of the 4 felony charges she faces on Thursday. The now 18-year-old Addison Bowell entered guilty pleas to homicide by intoxicated use of a vehicle, homicide by vehicle under the use of a controlled substance, and homicide by use of a vehicle with a PAC in relation to the crash that killed 54-year-old Ann Seidel. The 4th felony charge, hit and run involving death, as well as the related traffic citations, remain open. The Wisconsin Natural Resources Board has signed off on distributing a record number of bear hunting licenses this year. Under recommendation from the Department of Natural Resources, the NRB approved a quota of nearly 4,200 bears for the fall bear hunt and authorized over 15,000 licenses. The quota is only slightly higher than the nearly 4,100 bears last year, but the number of licenses distributed increased by over 15%. Last fall's bear hunting season saw about 3,700 harvested, on par with the 5-year average, but down from 2024. For 105.7 CFW News, I'm James Kelly.
The Badgers dismiss the Buckeyes. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. Men's college basketball. The Badgers have this week off after beating the Ohio State Buckeyes at the Kohl Center 92-82. John Blackwell and Nick Boyd combined for 43 points. Head coach Greg Gard.
Obviously, Boyd and Blackwell were really good when they needed to be, and a really good team win against a good team.
NBA, the Bucks wrapped up the road trip with another loss, this time 107-79 to the Boston Celtics, the fewest points scored by the Bucks in a game this season. NFL, it's Super Bowl week here in San Francisco. I'll have reports all week on the big game between the Seahawks and the Patriots, who held a pep rally in Foxborough. Quarterback Derek May.
Man, we wouldn't be here without you guys. What a journey, and we still got work left to do. Shout out to these guys. Love you guys. Celebrate when we get back. Go Pats, baby.
That's Patriots quarterback Derek May. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
Chippewa Valley weather. Partly cloudy to mostly sunny today with a high right around 19 this afternoon. Tonight, partly cloudy. We're going to drop down to around 0 for an overnight low. Tomorrow, mostly sunny with a high of 19. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable. Current temperature 13.
That's your WCFW and the TAP Daily News Roundup from Civic Media. Subscribe to this podcast on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you find your podcasts. Find more news at WCFW.FM or thetap.fm.